Hello, and welcome to week 10, or should I say episode 10 of Monetizing This Art Channel. But actually, it's not even that anymore. I will continue to give you updates on analytics of how this channel is doing, but I'm really coming to the place mentally of this picture is so much bigger, and I have so much more to share than just my stats for the week, and that's kind of already been moving in that direction. In the last few weeks where I actually have more things to say than just, how many followers or how many subscribers do I have? Like, it's always interesting to me to watch people do that, but there there's some serious stuff that I am working out and realizing that I think will be a lot more useful to um, a working artist, a potentially working artist, somebody who's trying to develop their career as an artist. And so that's what this Sunday session will be about every week. And I'm still working on what to call it because, monetizing a channel is one thing, but monetizing an art practice, wow, that does not sound like the way I want it to sound. So, yeah. And I don't like sort of art biz, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Anyway, if you have any ideas, feel free to share in the comments because I've been thinking about this all week and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to call this Sunday episode stuff. I am really trying to reverse engineer what kind of experience I'd like to have as a customer. So here's the deal. We have been customers most of our lives, and so we are experts at how we want to be treated when we are in a shopping situation. And what I want isn't necessarily what you want, but I'm looking for collectors who might be simpatico with me, somebody who has similar taste or maybe a similar vibe. I'm looking for my people. And so when I go into a store, I really love to connect with people. I chat with people in the spice aisle. And, yes, I want to get out of the grocery store with my jug of milk. But if I'm joking around with the cashier before that, like if we've had a little laugh together, yay for that. Whereas my husband would much prefer to, be in and out and probably use the self checkout, And so probably my sales strategy is not going to appeal to somebody like him, but that's okay. So what I really think would work for all of us who are trying to sell art is to think about how we want to be treated as consumers. And so I don't even like the word consumer, even though like I totally am a consumer, but I want to be a human. I would like to be a human connecting with another human and then take my piece of art home, remembering fondly the nice interaction that we had. And I want to offer that to a person who is purchasing something from me. And I want to have real connections with people, like that's the way it is. So let me try to describe to you what I'm trying to do. Somebody walks in to my booth, or in the case of yesterday when I had the walking art fair, I had this really amazing setup in the front garden. Anyway, so when somebody walks into my shop, whatever it may be, a booth, a garden, um, our the Ballard Collective, the place where my studio is, everybody knows what's going on, right? That person knows that they're coming in to look around at stuff that maybe they want to buy. And they know that I'm there probably going to sell something to them if they want it. So we don't need to reestablish our roles, do we? Like, I don't need to say something like, let me know if you have any questions. Like, we know. Like, we know, right? And so, yes, you want to show that you're available to answer questions, but I think more importantly is to take a moment to just really connect with somebody and have like an enjoyable little moment. And so whether it's like if somebody's got a cool bag, mention the cool bag. It's, I love to just sort of bring up stuff that's, like that you would talk to a potential new friend. Because really, strangers are just a friend you haven't made yet. Is that how the saying goes? I don't think so. Anyway, that's how I like to approach life, though. That's the first thing, is talking to people like they're people. Talking to people like maybe we're going to be friends. And not everybody that comes and shops at my booth or my garden is going to be a friend. But it's kind of like a way of seeing, testing the waters out. Like, are we going to be friends? Like, I've actually made friends, just hanging out at a booth selling art. And it's been really kind of the best thing ever, And so, yeah, so that's my first thing that I really want as a purchaser of things, is I would like to be treated like a real human. Like, I'd like to walk out and be like, well, that was fun, Why not? It's not that much harder to have that conversation than one in which we're just being transactional. Okay, so I think I've definitely belabored that point. The second thing that I think is extremely, extremely important is to maintain a sense of positivity and gratitude when I am in a space where I'm selling things. So yesterday is a really good example of there were some things that didn't go the way they've gone in previous years. Fewer people showed up. Like, fewer. It was funny because, there are a lot of people that walk their dogs and they walk up and down our street. Somehow, miraculously, it was on this day that was supposed to be this walking art fair, it seemed like our street was even quieter than usual, as opposed to more lively, full of people passing by looking at stuff. And I have participated in this walking art fair a couple of times. And so I remember what the scene was like before. It was like I couldn't even stop to have a sip of water or eat lunch because people just kept passing by, and I'd be chatting with one person and then another person would come by. It was a nonstop steady stream of wonderful art conversations or friend conversations. And this day was not like that. And I think this is really important to think about. I wasn't just like, oh, well, let's think positively. No. I was like, cool. Okay, because I set up the most awesome afternoon for people to come join me, right? I didn't just have art. I had this trio of iced tea tastings, and I had a table for people to do watercolors, and then take that with them. And and I had a couple of lounge chair, outdoor lounge chairs for people to sit around, and a blanket on the side of the hill. I had some music going, and I'm all about the vibe, And so I had created this really wonderful vibe, and the kind of afternoon that I would want to enjoy, and probably the kind of afternoon that I have been really not having lately because I've been so busy. So guess what? I suddenly had this time to just relax and enjoy this beautiful afternoon and this beautiful garden that I had gotten ready for loved ones, future loved ones, and I'm a loved one. And so I had a chance to lie on that blanket on the side of the little hill and do a little watercolor. I tried all of my teas multiple times. Oh my gosh, they're like 3 of my favorite flavors. I enjoyed a nice lunch, and I was just so happy to be there, you know? And I just allowed myself to be happy to be there, you know? And was I occasionally, you know, sort of like disgruntled? Sure. Yeah, there's a little bit of disgruntlement, but the truth is that nobody owes me anything. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to be entitled to having like a good sales day. Do you know what I mean? And if people aren't showing up, I can't be mad at people for not showing up. And not that it even occurred to me to be mad at them, but I'm just saying, like, people do what people do. And there were other things going on in the city. And I think it continues to be that way in our city, is that there's just more and more and more things happening. And what I say to that is, like, that's great, because what that means is that we're getting out more again. And that also makes me happy. So I guess the point is that, like, I really allowed myself to access the potential joy of the moment and to feel so grateful that I had this really great place to have an art sale. I mean, the whole thing was just wonderful. And did I sell less than I usually do? Well, yeah, because there were just such a tiny fraction of the people that usually come by. And a lot of the people that came by were just walking their dog. You know, they weren't even there to buy art at all. It seems like most of the people who came by by accident. You know, like they happened to be passing by. So I had a chance to kind of test out the way that I enjoy talking to people at art events, and to kind of be a little bit more, usually I'm just kind of just doing it. But yesterday I started thinking about I don't think strategy is the right word, but the approach that I think, like, thinking really carefully about, like, how would I want to be talked to right now? You know, like, what sounds good? So, as people were passing by, I might say, and this is like people who are passing by who didn't even know that there was anything going on, I would offer them the tea tasting, and then I would get back to painting my watercolor. And then people would be like, oh, what's this? And then I wouldn't even talk to them, you know? I would just let them kind of like unfold what was happening. And unless somebody seemed truly confused, I would explain what was happening. But then I realized, oh my gosh, all these people are walking their dogs. I need to go get a bowl of water. Like, these dogs need water, you know? It's a warm day. So, you know, I spent time petting dogs and finding out these adorable dogs' names, and just, I don't know, it was so nice. And ultimately, I know that I talked about specific numbers last video that I had a sale. And at the beginning of the day, I was like, wow, okay, I'm not gonna sell very much. I probably spent about $100 more on supplies for this day, because I bought some tea and I bought some more watercolor paper so that people could take watercolors home with them. And one other thing that I'm blanking on right now. So, but something like that. And, oh yeah, ice and cups for the tea. Okay. Anyway, yeah, but I sold almost $1,000 worth of work. Like, that's awesome. Like, there were that's like, isn't that crazy? Like, hardly anybody was there. And certainly a lot of people weren't even planning on buying anything. And I wasn't trying to get them to buy anything. Like, seriously, unless they were asking me questions, I just didn't even bring it up. like I would say, oh, hey, do you want a map? This is walking art fair. Like if people seem to be like, wait, what is this? Then I would give them a map and like, oh, you should definitely go down. Like my other friends are down here, and check out what they're doing. And because there's some of my friends also had sales going on. And I don't know, it was really profound because by the end of yesterday, I had made at least one friend, like real friend, like we hugged goodbye. And I had a lot of laughs, real laughs. I did see some people that I knew because I had sent out an email to my newsletter, very impromptu, like, hey, I'm doing this fun vibe day. And so some people came by that I knew, and it was such a good day. Anyway, next week is another art sale, and that one is sure to be much better attended and definitely about art. So it's going to be like, this one was too many people. And then yesterday was like, that wasn't very many people, but it was like a lot of lovely connection. And next week will be kind of like a happy medium, I think. There's going to be live music and food and ice cream, and it's called Art in the Garden. So okay, here's another thing. Obviously, I like as a customer, I don't just want to connect with people, but I love like little extra features. So the fact that there was like an iced tea tasting, like, oh, I love that. That's so fun. And then, oh, you could just sit down and make your own little watercolor. Fun, fun, fun. Like, I love that stuff. So next week, I'm going to be in a booth. So I'm not going to be spreading out across my garden and my neighbor's garden. So I am going to take my favorite of those teas, and I'm going to bring like iced tea again. But the one that I really love, it just tastes it's so fruity and so fresh. So I'm going to do that. And then I think I'm also going to bring the watercolor back, but what I'm going to do this time, because it's sort of a different situation where I don't have like room for an entire table and sitting around and painting, is I'm going to have a big piece of watercolor paper that has been prepared and taped down, and it's going to be on the wall. And I'm going to pre-paint a vase, and then I'm going to invite people who come in to paint a flower on the group painting, but also I'll have the little pieces of paper so that people can practice the flower that they want to paint on there if they want to, and then they can take that with them. I love that. Like, I love that so much. I'm more excited about that than anything that I'm selling. So in summary, what I'm focusing on when I have a booth is I make sure that I am connecting with people as people, and maybe even potentially future friends, as opposed to I am this role and you are that role, and there's a wall between us, right? So I focus on connection. I focus on keeping my heart really positive and happy, and just glad to be there. I also focus on making sure that I have something fun and interactive to do, especially if somebody can leave with something that they themselves made, because I'm really interested in us all really increasing our creativity in whatever way possible. So that feels really nice. I love people to be able to leave with something in their hands, even if they didn't buy anything from me. And bonus if it's fun. So yeah, like when I think about as a consumer, when I go to, for example, I go to this fair with my kid on a regular basis. It's kind of more of a craft fair, I guess you could say. And there's this vendor that I find irresistible. And here's what she's doing. She's got a booth that looks really cool. And the stuff that she sells is also very compelling and intriguing. It seems like I always want to buy something from her. But also there's something about her demeanor where she does not seem remotely bothered about whether you buy something or not. She's just happy to be there, and she's just having a good time. And I I love just going to hang out there. And like last time that I was there at that fair, I was like, I do not need to be buying anything from her because like, I don't need to be buying anything today. I was walking in with, I'm not going to buy anything. And then, but I definitely want to go visit her booth because I just love whatever she's got going on and, in terms of vibe. It's just really nice to just be there. And so I just stood there and like chatted with her and like chatted with other people who were shopping there. And sure enough, guess what I did? Yeah, I bought some stuff. And I have no regrets because it's cool stuff. It's like some candles and but like the way, yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about her candles, but anyway, yeah. So those are a few thoughts. And I would say that if you are having a booth and you're not having a great day, that first of all, I can relate. Like I can relate that like lately it seems like sales are different than they used to be. But I think this is time for us to really double down on building relationships. Because if people don't have money, they can't be spent, like, or if people, actually, it's not if people don't have money. It's like if people are in this headspace of, I don't have money, there's nothing that we can do to convince them to buy something. I don't want to trick anybody to buy my stuff. That doesn't feel good at all, And so I would say if you're having a slow day, just take the opportunity to just have fun with people. And who knows, maybe you'll sell some stuff. And oh yeah, one last thing. And that is, you gotta have awesome stuff. It's kind of like that lady that I was just talking about. It's not just that she has such a great vibe. There's just like, oh, what's this? There's a little bit of, oh, what's this? So you got to do that with your art. It's got to look good the way that you've displayed it. It needs to be easy to browse through, and you need to have different price points. Like you can have like big, expensive showstoppers that kind of draw people in, and then your mid-range price things, and then like the really accessible like postcards or whatever, and that way there's an entry point for anybody. So yeah, those are my thoughts today after a surprisingly slow art sale day. Well, surprisingly slow in terms of number of people, but then surprisingly like a pretty good dollar amount of sales considering how quiet it was. Yeah, I hope that's useful. Hopefully that's useful. So let's get down to talking about the numbers for the week. And they're slow. I mean, everything has increased in a sort of gentle slope kind of way, but I have definitely stopped being concerned about it, to be honest, because I think that eventually there will be some kind of monetization of this channel. And in the meantime, I'm going to be making quite a bit of money doing other things. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to basically figure out what can I share. And hopefully these numbers are useful as well, or at least interesting. So as of this week, I have 214 subscribers and 223 total watch hours in the last 365 days. And again, the reason why I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the last 365 days is because that makes me eligible for YouTube's partnership program, and that would allow me to then earn a small amount of revenue from ads or even subscriptions. Thank you so much for joining me this week. And if you have any thoughts about what you like as a customer, Or if you have any thoughts about what you have enjoyed doing when you have an art sale, I would love to hear about it in the comments. This is extremely fascinating stuff. And are you the kind of person who walks into a grocery store and just really wants to be in and out really quickly with the milk jug? Or are you the kind of person who finds yourself chit-chatting with somebody in the meat department? I'd love to know. All right, hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you at the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll check you on the flip side.